How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to another video. So it's been a minute. Sorry, I've been extremely busy at work, so I pretty much haven't touched this car or anything really since that time attack day. A few of you guys have enjoyed that, and there was a few comments and even people coming out to me personally saying they quite liked that video. I appreciate that. It was quite fun to make, and obviously I guess that reflected in the video itself. So yeah, as I say, I pretty much haven't touched the car since then, and I have another round of Drift South coming up in a couple of weeks. There is actually a test day in 3 days time. So I thought I should probably have a look at the car and do some maintenance. So I started dropping the oil, and then I thought, you know what, I should probably pick up the camera and say hello. So here she is. Already dropped the old oil and cut apart the filter and had a look, and there was nothing too frightening inside, so going to throw some fresh oil in it. Also going to do a service on the Samsonite, well, just an oil change on the Samsonite. So at the time attack, what did I get, like a 137 something? I can't quite remember off the top of my head. Apparently there is one Mark III Supra at Ruapuna that's at least a second faster than me. So I reckon if I actually change the diff, that would probably help. So that's a TRD two-way with a 3.7 ratio. The car currently has a 4.1 in it, Locky, so it would be much more suitable for grip racing. And I got something else. Some big boy slicks. What's this one on top? It's a 280 wide 18, and the ones down the bottom are 300 wide. So yeah, 280 up front, 300 on the rear. That should go good enough to start pointing out the next weak point, which will most likely be the brakes. But yeah, my thing is, so I got extended track width arms. I don't know if you can even really see. Extended track with arms. So yeah, I do have a wide body, but that pushes the whole hub out. So trying to find a 10-inch wide wheel that's going to fit inside my front guards is going to be fun. I've got my Yankees over there, which are 10.5 mid to high 30 offset. They might be alright, I'll give it a go. But yeah, that's a later date, probably next year. I'll try and see if I can crack a new record in this car, slicks and all. But for now, instead I'll continue on with the maintenance and get it ready for the next round of Drift South, which is another great track, which is A-Track version 2. So the AccuSump, this thing holds about 8 to 9 litres of oil, something like that. So just probably threw about 7 odd in, because I threw a little bit of an empty bottle in before, and I'll probably just wind it over and try and fill up the AccuSump and lock that off, and then I'll check the fluids again after that. So this is the AccuSump in here. As you can see, it's reading hopefully not zero. Can't actually see from where I am. Oh, got the car too off the ground. It is zero, so I need to add some pressure into that just quickly. So you want a little bit of base pressure in the back of the AccuSump to force the oil back into the system. Otherwise it's just an extra vessel to hold your oil and doesn't actually do the job. So that's currently not doing a job. So put some air in it, put about probably 18 pounds or something like that, 15 pounds. So yeah, I'll do that. The more pressure you put on, the less oil it'll hold, by the way. So if you put like 40 pounds of air behind it, the piston will only travel so far back and it won't hold as much oil. So I've got my handy wee pump set to 18 psi, and there is the valve on there, so chuck that on it, and now it has some base pressure. So put that cap back on. And the fun part, it's been a minute since I've heard this car. Just gonna wait for the dash to come on. Oil pressure there, so we'll crank her up. So here is the valve. I've lost my bloody handle, I don't know how. So it's open at the moment. So I've got some pressure in there. I'm just going to give it a bit of a rev and close that, and we should have a full sump. So now with the car off, you can see it's got like 65 psi in there. So that means it's got some oil in the tank. So now I can recheck my oil levels in the sump and make sure that it's adequately full, and then I'll get onto the gearbox. Well, math still works. That was about what have we got? Yeah, about 9 litres of oil. So I had to add about another 1.5 litres to 2 litres after I'd filled up the AccuSump, which checks out because 3 quart and 3 quarts minus whatever volume 19 psi of oil pressure takes up on the plunger. So it's not quite 3 quarts of oil, it's just a 3 quart size accumulator. But yeah, our oil levels topped off, AccuSump's filled up, onto the gearbox. So this saucy little number is my Samsonite sequential. It's a 4-speed I run, because I'd already pushed the budget way too far out to a 4 to 5 or a 6. Somewhat regretting it now. I wish I got at least a 5. 4 is perfectly ample for drifting, but a 5 or 6 would be pretty sick for track day racing. Anyway, I'll move on from that. But yeah, so this is the Samsonite sequential. You can order it from the factory with an adapter to suit the R154 bell housing. So yeah, and that's how I've got it on my 7M GTE. Probably, pretty confident this is the only 7M GTE in the world with a Samsonite sequential attached to it. So yeah, gonna dump the oil out of it, out of that wee bugger, and top her up some fresh stuff. I think from memory it doesn't take a lot, like 900ml or something, so I'd say it shouldn't take too long, but it probably will because it's like thick as gear oil. Cleaned out the pan as well so I can investigate for chunks. I mean, she's a pretty strong gearbox, but that can't help against user error if there is any, i.e. you don't pull the lever hard enough. The thing with dog boxes, sequential boxes, all pretty much the same thing. You don't want to fuck around and find out. Gotta get it into gear quick, otherwise you'll end up smashing the corners off your dogs. So this is what I run on it. Motul 75 140 gear oil. Can't Can't remember how much I need. One. I'll take out 2 bottles just in case. Have a go at these. Yeah, we'll see. I can't remember how much I need. Maybe, yeah, and then also run the motor and the brakes and the Penrite in the motor. And all the brake clean in the world to clean up my messes when it leaks. But yeah, this is going to be a little bit of a country music star to fill up. It would be easier if I had a pump. I've used a siphon before, worked out pretty well for about 1 fill, and then after that it just leaked everywhere and it was just more of a pain in the ass than anything. But yeah, it's just a bit thick to get through a wee hole, that's all. So this is pretty much finished draining now, so I'll investigate the oil for any nastiness and fill it back up. Don't know if you'll be able to see, but might have to take my word for it. It's got a bit of metallic in it. No chunks. I definitely have had a couple of occasions where I've gone to pull the gear and due to lack of commitment or I don't know what, it hasn't gone in, so it would have probably clipped the dogs a bit. But no large pieces, so I'm going to refill it and send it. I really should pull it apart one day and just go over it. As I brought up my my regret of not getting a 5 or a 6, the casings are actually the same between the 4, 5 and the 6. So I've been told it's a bit of a dick, like there's quite a few parts to order, but if I want to I can buy a new shift barrel, shift fork and an extra gear, because it's just got spaces instead of gears for the 5th and 6th. So I could add another 5th gear. I think it's about $3,000 to do so, something like that. Much cheaper than a Winters. If I want to try and justify it to myself that way. So yeah, maybe if I'm feeling flush, I might pull it apart. Investigate all the other gears and dogs, and maybe if anything needs refreshing, order new parts and maybe a new gear at the same time. We'll see. But for now I'm just going to fill her up and then that's pretty much changed tyres and I'm good to go drifting. So my GoPro died. I might have filmed some stuff on my phone, might not have, can't really remember what I filmed to be perfectly honest. But I've been down, seen Vinny and the boys down at Rigi Power, got some new tyres, so got another pair of Nankings up front. The other ones were a couple of years old. I certainly had some use in them, so thought I'd replace those. Got some new, well, some more rears to go skid up. So yeah, the Samsonite oil's changed, car's changed. It's all packed up. All my gear's in the back of the ute. Gonna go pick up some more ethanol tomorrow. Try and turn the boost back up when the ethanol's in, see if that works. Because when I did this track last season, I had low boost only, and it was a very patchy, wet, dry day kind of thing. So in the wet it was disgusting, no grip. It was just not a pleasure to drive. But then when it dried up, I was underpowered and I was bogging down. So I want to go put on a big smoke show. So yeah, I want to wind the boost back up and put some ethanol in it and see how that goes. Also got another dash to try out as well. So a good friend of mine, Andrew, AIC, has now started making some dashes. He's done the first wee run of them, and I'm about to be listing those soon as well once the next batch is done. But yeah, chucking one in the car, and I'll have that on tomorrow, as well as the power tune still there. Andrew's dash is just a basics, you know, like it's not like adjustable memes, blah blah blah, like I do with the power tune. I love that. But I'll be honest, most of the race drivers that buy dashes, they're like, yeah, it's cool and all, but I'd rather just a simple info. So his is just a single dash, but I'll go into more details on that one later. But it's got an amazingly fast boot time, like it's pretty much instant. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, anyway, thank you very much for watching, guys. And I guess the next video I'll be out at the track doing my testing for the next round 2 of Drift South. Cheers.